Hello and welcome to my channel. In this reading, I'm going to be doing a reading for the Pisces personality for the week ahead from Monday the 15th of April. So looking at the energies of the week, themes that are coming up, potential challenges, things to look forward to, and also the guidance to how to navigate these energies. So I've already pulled the cards. I'm using the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. And without further ado, I'll get into the reading. So we'll start with the general themes. So I'll show you the cards first, and then I'll talk through some of them. Okay, so we've got here the Priestess. So having a look, seeing for yourself what comes through to you intuitively. I always encourage people to take what they see as well. We're all intuitive beings, so take what you see. Then we've got the Seven of Swords futility. And then we have got the Fool. Okay, interesting reading. We've got more cards, but I'll come to those in a minute. So, first thing that's jumping out to me is we've got the Priestess, right? Priestess is very much about trusting your inner knowing, your inner wisdom, and going inward and reflecting. And it's ruled by the moon. It's got a moon glyph there. And this feels like a very, it's not a Pisces card specifically, but it feels very Piscean with the blues and the greens. And it feels very much like you're being asked this week to go inward, to listen to your inner knowing. The counterpart to the Priestess is the Hermit, and the Hermit goes away to sort of reflect, introspect, to gain clarification, wisdom. And this is the female counterpart to that. So trusting, going inward and sort of listening to your own inner guidance. And that's going to be a big theme for you this week. So maybe there's going to be something about doing more meditation practices even, or something along those lines, exercises or practices that allow you to tap into that sort of inner wisdom that you have, especially as a Pisces. Not that people don't have wisdom, but Pisces are really known for that. So tapping into that is going to be important this week. Why? Because things have felt a little bit tricky recently, feels like. It feels to me like some of you have been through some tricky stuff recently. Things have felt a bit futile. Things have felt a little bit like you've been working at stuff and then it's not really worked out, and it's hard and you're having to push, and things aren't really working very smoothly, feels like. So it feels like going back to the drawing board and kind of being right, let's have a look at this, let's reassess this. But not relying so much on your logic to do that. It's more relying on your intuition to do that. It's not getting a plan and mapping it all out so much with the Priestess being here, but more okay, let me just take some time away. Let me just go inward. Let me get back in touch with that sort of inner knowing. And then we've also got the Fool. So it feels like something new is trying to come in. And it feels like, because again, we'll look at the other cards in a minute, but based on the other cards as well, it feels like you're going to need to take some risks this week. So the Fool is always about some kind of a new venture, new start. And it's taking a leap. Just being the amateur, because the Fool is foolish, right? When we're the Fool, we take the leap without really realizing the consequences of what we're doing in some way. And that's what it is to be an amateur. It's I'm going to do this, and then later on you're wow, I didn't realize there were so many challenges. But there is a calling here to do that and to sort of trust it anyway, and take some kind of leap of faith. So the question I asked next was, what are the challenges that might be coming up for the Pisces personality? And here we've got the Emperor. So with this being in your challenge, it feels the Emperor is ruled by Aries. You can see the Aries glyph there. And Aries is very much about courage and going first and diving for. So it's an interesting one because you're being asked to take a risk and step forward, but it might be hard to have the courage to do so. It feels like it does feel like there's a little bit of fear here for you, potentially, or just like a fear of like speaking up and having that kind of like bold sort of courageous action. Because the Emperor is like good. Yeah, like it's such an Aries card. Look at all of these like rams in the back there. So it is about, it's asking you to have courage, really. And then I asked the cards, what is the best part of the week ahead for Pisces? And here we've got 8 of Cups, indolence. So obviously normally this doesn't look like a great card, but with it being the best part, it's like, it feels like this card speaks of walking away from something that's no longer serving you or abandoning something. Now, sometimes it speaks of like abandoning things too soon and that not being like the right thing to do in terms of like, we need to stick things out and like follow things through. But because this is the best part of the, like it's saying the best part of the week is that you might be abandoning something or leaving something behind that has been draining you. Like the thing that really jumps out at me in this card is like, look how drained the cups are. These cups are empty. These ones are just like barely enough to fill up the bottom cups. Like you've just been like drained. Some of you have been really drained, and some of you might be feeling quite burnt out, actually. But it feels like you're going to be able to leave some of that behind soon, and you are going to get a newfound like zest for life, or like a newfound sense, like you're leaving something that has been draining you, and you're going to get your vitality back. That's what it feels like. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. And then I asked the cards, like, what is the guidance for the Pisces personality? And here we've got Prince of Wands. So again, there's this sort of like correspondence here, like they're not the same, but look at the colors. They're really similar. Lots of orange, lots of yellow. It feels like you're really being asked, like, honestly, like what it feels like is with all this yellow, which corresponds to the solar plexus. And the solar plexus rules power. It rules courage. It rules like fear in the sense that like we have to face our fears and like do the things that scare us. And with this here as well, I was saying, one of the first things I said was like, I need to take a risk. The Prince of Wands is a risk taker, is willing to like forge ahead. But with it being a prince rather than a knight or a king, he's sort of a little bit foolish as well, right? He's not like established in his kingdom. He's just like, I'm going to try things out. Like a Prince of Wands is like someone that's willing to sort of just take action and not think too hard about it, and like be willing to take risks and get things wrong. Like, yeah, because we've got the Fool here, like the Fool has to make mistakes, like amateurs make mistakes. I'm not saying you're an amateur, it's just, it's more like you're a beginner, the beginner's mind, right? Beginners try things out and mess up and try again and get up and fall, and it's like there's a need here to know that that's just part of the process, and that's what it is to be a beginner, because we don't know anything yet, right? Like if you start on a new venture, let's say you decided to start a business or something, if you've never run a business before, then there's going to be so many things that you don't know. But like the nature of starting a business is that it's risky, but risks have the biggest rewards as well. Like if we had a life with no risk, it would be really boring, and we have to do things that are risky, and sometimes we risk failure, but that's okay, because that's where we learn, that's where we grow, that's where we get like excitement, that's thrilling for us. Like our souls want to fail, actually, because it's like part of the human experience and why we are here. We're not here to only succeed, we are here for all of it. We're here for the like the mess, the failures and messing up and all that stuff. Not that I think that like you're necessarily going to like fail or whatever it is you're doing. It's just the willingness to be vulnerable in that possibility and doing it anyway, regardless of whether it succeeds or not. And like having like something that's really coming through actually is we have to do things that are scary and require courage so that we can be proud of ourselves. It's not just about the success of something, like something being a success. It's also like we do it so that we can see what we're made of. Like, and by trying things that are hard and trying things that are new and unfamiliar, it's like, what's the expression? Like, it's not what you make or what you do, it's who you become. And this is very much about you becoming like a higher version of yourself. But it does require risk, and that might be quite hard. But if you lean on your inner guidance and you try, like, I think that's why the priestess is here, because the priestess is like the first card that came out, and the priestess is like, trust what the guidance is telling you. Trust like where you're being led. It might feel scary because sometimes our inner guidance isn't always like easy, right? It might be like, you need to leave this relationship, and you're like, oh my God, no, I don't want to. But when we do, then we get rewarded, right? But it's not always an easy path, and it does require courage. That's been a big theme in a lot of readings, actually. Okay, so I'm going to pull some more cards for you now. We're going to use the Work Your Light deck by Rebecca Campbell, and this deck here, to see if there's any more guidance for you for this week ahead for the Pisces personality. Ooh, they're very jumpy. They haven't jumped out yet, but oh my God, this card's been coming out in every reading practically. Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to share this. So, first one that came out, the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. This card has come out in a lot of readings. So there's something here collectively, because it's been coming up so much, and I have shuffled the deck a lot, that it's like we need to remember that this ain't our first rodeo. Okay, so even though it feels like it's the beginning, and it's like our ego is unfamiliar with it, our soul has done this before. We have been through this before. You have what it is within you already. You've been training for this. You're ready for this. That's what this card tells me. Is like, whenever this card comes up for me personally, it feels always like a reminder, like a loving, gentle reminder. Like, don't worry, like, you've done this before. You've handled this before. You've been through this before. You've got this. Like, you can do this because you have already done it. Even if you haven't done it in this lifetime, you have done this before. Okay? So don't forget that. That's important. And then we've got here, these came out together, so I'm going to speak to them together because it feels like they're related. Starseed, what lights you up? And Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So, oh, okay. So, okay, I'll start with this. It feels very much like, yeah, this week, you need to remember, like, what is it that lights you up? What is it that excites you? Like, get back in touch. Like, because we've got the Fool here as well, it's like, it's a new beginning, and we want to do something that's exciting for us. Like, what lights us up in terms of like, oh, like, that feels curious and interesting to me. Like, I really want to go there. Get back in touch with that, of like, not losing your spark, and like coming back to like what you're like, I'm excited, you know, like that kind of feeling. And we've got releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, which is kind of corresponding to me with this card, right? The stuff that has been holding you back is going to be like getting cleared this week, or like certainly on the path to healing this week. And a need to let go, like sort of let go. Like, it's really like the feeling like, go off, get off me, of things that are holding you back. But you are going to have that because we've got the 8 of Cups in the best part of this week, of like letting go of things that are draining you of this life force energy. And it's getting back in touch with this life force energy of like, what is it that lights you up? Like when you go inward, like ask that question, what lights me up? What do I care about? What's important to me? And you will be having opportunities this week to heal and release some of that stuff that's been holding you. Yeah, it feels like you've been sort of a bit restricted, and like there's something that needs to go, like that needs to be cleared. But you are going to be getting that this week. So that's really good. That feels exciting. And yeah, just remember, you've totally got this because you've done this before. And even if in this lifetime you might have done this before, like maybe you're starting something again that you did do and then you stopped it and then you're trying to do it again. And you had success then and now you're being asked to do it again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But you've already done the work to be able to do this, is really what's coming through. And I think that's really important to remember, that to help you have the courage to go after what you want. Yeah, be that Prince of Wands. Take charge. Be bold. Have courage. You've got this. Oh, how lovely. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching that. I hope that was helpful. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. If you like this content, subscribing is the best way to get more future content. I'll be posting more and more stuff. I'm also very open to suggestions, so if you have any ideas of content you would like to see, please feel free to pop that in the comments. I might not be able to do all of them, but I'm still very open to suggestions. Other than that, also, check your sun, moon, and rising as well, don't forget. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'll speak to you all later. Bye.